welcome to Two Cooks in the Kitchen. Today we are making Molé Almondrado. So we just got back from a trip to Oaxaca City, the birthplace of mole. And one of the goals, of course, was to continue my, what do you call it?
Adventures?
Yeah, adventures in mole. It's kind of a passion, but when it's more of a compulsion, I forget the word. Anyway, and one of the things that we found, of course, we've talked about the 7 moles of Oaxaca and how, there's actually like over 100 moles, and the idea of there being 7 is just kind of a misnomer. But that idea is put forward in Oaxaca. There are people who have their menus of 7 moles, and no 2 lists of 7 moles are the same. And what we found in a couple of places was this Molé Almondrado was on their list of the 7 moles. It had not been on any list I've ever seen in all my research. So this is great. It gives me a new mole to make. Whee! So as the name implies, this mole gets much of its flavor from almonds. This is not intended to be a particularly spicy or particularly sweet mole. So we're going to use some anchos. I have 2 of these, what are they? Guajillos. Now you might use more guajillos, but these particular guajillos that I've got are really quite spicy, and so I don't want to use more than 2. So I'm going to use 4 pasillas, and I have these 2. These are actual Moritas, which is a fried jalapeno that is dried, that we bought in Oaxaca while we were there and shipped home. And this is going to get some sweetness from raisins, and we've got a plantain here. If it's not sweet enough, we will consider adding a little bit of sugar, but I kind of think that's not going to be necessary. I've got 4 cups of chicken broth, about 3/4 of a pound of tomatoes, 1/4 of an onion, a few garlic cloves, a little Mexican chocolate, and some corn tortillas to thicken our mole. And now we found when we went to Oaxaca that a lot of times they thicken their mole with bread. It would be much more traditional to thicken it with some sort of corn, some sort of masa or a corn tortilla. We're going to char these tortillas and put them into our mole. And in this way, they're gluten-free. If you thicken your mole with bread, I can't eat it. It's so disappointing. Anyway, so there you have it. I'm gonna take the seeds out of these. I'm gonna blanch these almonds and peel them, which is a little bit of work, but it's gonna be worth it. So I'll get to that, and we'll come back when it's time to do something else. All right, so here's my chilies I've taken the seeds out of. To blanch the almonds, I just have hot water in a pan. It doesn't have to be boiling or anything. I'm gonna soak these almonds in the hot water until they start to, the peels start to come loose. And that's really all there is to it. And then you just peel them, and then we will toast them. And while we're toasting them, we'll be able to toast our corn tortillas too. So we're just gonna let these sit and see what happens. So after soaking these in the hot water, the peels just come right off. It's really easy. So the only thing is there's a lot of them, but they do come right off. Aim is something to be developed here. All right, so my almonds all peeled up nicely. I dried them off a little bit. I'm gonna put them in the broiler with my tortillas and see if I can get all this stuff to just kind of toast a little bit under the broiler. So we'll give that a while and probably stir them, and we'll just come back when they're broiled. Right, so I've got my toasted almonds and my crisped up toasted tortilla. So now I've sprayed the pan, I've put down a sheet of parchment paper because if it gets messy, it gets really hard to clean. But I've got my garlic, my onions, my tomatoes, plantain, and all my chili pieces, and I'm gonna stick this under the broiler and get it going. I haven't peeled the garlic because it's so much easier to peel after it's been toasted a little bit. So this is just gonna toast under the broiler till there's a little color on it. The chili should kind of bubble a little bit. And then we'll have everything toasted and ready to do more things to it. Okay, so the peppers toasted right up and nothing else did, so I'm getting them out of here. I'm putting them in a saucepan because we're going to cook these with chicken broth.
Oh no.
In the long run. But yeah.
Okay.
That released their goodness. Okay, so I peeled the garlic. It peels really easy after toasting. I'm just going to put all of this stuff in a pan. Let's see how and I'm going to add some of the chicken stock, and we're going to let this boil for about 10 minutes. So we've done quite a few different ways over the years here of softening up the dried chilies and getting them ready to be used. This is the first time we put them under the broiler. It was definitely effective. It kind of might ruin the air in your house. Kelly's having a little trouble with it.
Little.
But,
I was not prepared for that.
Let's see how much of this chicken broth I can get out of here. I might have to, oh, there we go. I think I want about half of it, 2 cups worth, and save the other 2 cups for blending up the almonds. That looks like it's gonna be fine. We'll get this going. And I just want this to boil for 10 minutes so the chilies are all softened, the onions a little bit cooked, and then we're just gonna blend it all up and strain it. All right, so this stuff boiled for 10 minutes. I've let it cool a little bit. I might need to cool it a little more. It's pretty hot right now, but all the chilies are softened. The onions will be cooked a little bit. And so we're just going to zoop this up and see if we can get it really smooth. Oh, you got to plug it in. So they say anyway. Let's see what we got here. I'm going to do a little more. What I need is to get, steam, to get as much of the chunks out of this as I can so it'll go through this strainer. So I'm just gonna pulverize this a little more. All right, so let's see how well this goes through the strainer. So such a mess every time. Oh, this is going to go through pretty good. Look at that. That's a nice, smooth looking sauce already. We're going to be using the blender again, so I'm not going to worry about cleaning it totally. And the next use is going to be the almonds, and we're not going to strain those. So this will end up with a little bit of a chunk to it, a little bite, which will be just fine. But now, the task of pushing it through the strainer. This looks good. It looks like there's not going to be much left in the strainer when I get done. But we'll spare you the process. All right, so we got this. Here, let's take a picture of it here. Got this beautiful pile of chili sauce here. And what we're going to do is assemble our mole back in the blender. So we start with that. Look at that smooth, beautiful sauce. And then we're going to add our toasted almonds. And I'm thinking this is all going to fit. I hope so. And plantains. I have here about a 1/4 cup of raisins. I have a tablespoon of cumin, tablespoon of cinnamon, the tortillas, break those up. These should act as a thickener. And then what's left of our chicken broth. That'll all fit. I'm gonna put it all in now. Yep, goes, okay. Perfecto. So the only thing to do is I do want to get the rest of this goodness out of here. It's all our chilies. Okay. No mess at all. And away we go. I'm just gonna zoop this up. It's pretty thick. I think it's gonna need a wow, that's delicious. It's gonna need a little more. I'd like to break it up a little bit more. So we'll just keep going with this. This is our mole, pretty much. I have melted some coconut oil in a stock pot here, and I'm just gonna pour the mole in, and we're gonna let this cook. Okay, I'm gonna have to work on getting all of that out of there, but I'm gonna add to this 1 ounce of chocolate. And it might be plenty, it might not, we'll see.
Is it sweetened or unsweetened?
This is completely unsweetened baking chocolate that we got from Oaxaca. Actually, Zipolite. Last year, just been hanging around. It's, yeah, it's unsweetened, but real Oaxacan mole chocolate. Ooh. Okay, so I'm just gonna get the rest of this in here. We're just gonna let this cook now for about at least a half an hour, maybe even a little longer. Get all those flavors to marry. And it's gonna be almond and chocolate. It's gonna be like an almond joy. All right, so here's our, wow, okay, this is a really good mole. I hadn't ever heard of this mole until we went to Oaxaca. But it's sweet, it's nutty. The chocolate is just a very underlying note. I did put another ½ ounce of chocolate in, but I decided not to put the whole other ounce. And it's perfect. We did a mole and mezcal pairing, and they paired this one with a quiche mezcal, which is what I ended up turning to when we were in Oaxaca. And I had the choice of all the mezcals. Quiche ended up being one of my favorites, so I can see this and that mezcal going well together. So anyway, thanks for watching Two Cooks in the Kitchen. Subscribe to our channel. Check out our recipe website where there are many, many more mole recipes and much more information about moles, more than you could ever hope for. And subscribe to our channel. Oh, I said that. We'll see you next time.